connecting Central Texas. This is 25 News.
I think what the president needs to do is, frankly, put his big boy pants on. He needs to acknowledge the fact that he lost, and he needs to congratulate the winner.
Words from Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney there calling out President Trump to concede in a press conference earlier after Joe Biden took the lead in Pennsylvania. Biden leads with about 13,000 votes and 90% of the vote in. However, votes are still being counted. As of this afternoon, about 40,000 votes remain, and it may take several days to finish. Biden is expected to give a primetime speech on Friday evening. It has not been confirmed at what time. For more updates, make sure to visit our website, KXXV.com. 2020 will certainly go down in the history books for a lot of things, and that includes being the top year for gun sales. Starting back in March when the pandemic got underway, we began to see a steady uptick in sales. This continued during those ongoing protests surrounding racial injustice and other civil unrest. Small arms analysts and forecasting show a large majority of the sales were to first-time gun owners. We spoke with a professor, and he says people's motivations for buying long guns and sporting guns is different than other motivations for buying handguns.
For handguns, definitely it's fear and self-defense from both personal attacks and this general dangerous world that people perceive that we live in. You're afraid of this big bad thing out in the world, but now you've brought this thing in your house that you should also be respectful of and maybe a little afraid of if you're not educated.
The dynamics surrounding gun ownership are also changing. In the first 6 months of 2020, federally licensed dealers saw more than $10 million in sales. Nearly 60% of those buyers were African-American men and women. Let's take a look at what the 2020 candidates have said about gun rights. Democrat Joe Biden has called for a reinstatement of the 1994 assault weapons ban. Also, he says so-called high-capacity magazines need to be outlined, similar to other measures in California. Meanwhile, President Trump has said he will expand federal protections for gun owners. Deer and turkey season opens this weekend in Texas. Deer season runs from November 7th through January 3rd in the North Zone and through January 17th in the South. For more info, visit tpwd.texas.gov. If you're planning on going hunting, remember to carry a valid hunting license and proof of that hunter education course. You must also correctly log and tag your kills. Be sure to check the Wildlife Department's website that we just mentioned for region-specific regulations. Finding a place to get tested for COVID-19 has proven tough for residents in Nolanville. That's why the city is building a new testing facility at a fire station. Thanks to CARES Act funding, the city is ready to give the community a more permanent testing site. City Council there says the city plans to use about $187,000 to add that site to the back of the Central Bell County Fire and Rescue Department.
We've had testing here before. We've used tents and that sort of thing. Much safer, much cleaner, much more sanitary to have an actual facility that we can use.
Councilman says the city is planning to begin construction later this month. He also says eventually residents should be able to get vaccines at that site. The volunteer fire department, of course, can still use the facility. And you can receive COVID-19 testing in McLennan County this week. Drive-through clinics are open until 6 p.m. today. Sacred Heart Catholic Church, Antioch Church, Heritage Square. Tomorrow testing will happen between 9 and 6 at Sacred Heart in Antioch. Then on Sunday, testing will resume at Antioch during the same times. You can register at covidwaco.com.